She is one of the Duke's biggest defenders and claims Giuffre, in her words, is a con artist. Now, Lady Victoria also believes this infamous photo of Andrew with Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell is actually a fake. And Lady Victoria joins me now. It's great to have you here. And look, Lady V, the one thing that I've always been very clear about is there are two sides to this story. And while I think Prince Andrew made a mistake not to fight Giuffre in court, there are a number of holes in Giuffre's story. So I will come to them in just a moment. But first, Lady Victoria, why did your friend Prince Andrew not fight her in court? Because surely that was the only way he was ever going to be able to clear his name publicly.
I think there's a mixture of reasons. I know it was all very sudden, especially since, his side and his lawyers had gathered so much incriminating information on her. But I think, whereas he did want it to go to trial, but his family were putting pressure on, just sort of having this end. So I don't think it was his decision in part for this, because obviously he wants to prove his innocence.
Are you in touch with him lately?
I don't want to comment on that, but I am definitely in touch with his immediate team.
Yeah, because you believe that you have the smoking gun to prove that that famous picture of Prince Andrew and Giuffre is actually fake. So talk me through it. What do you think you've discovered, Lady Victoria?
Yeah. So I only really started digging into this on February 1st, and I made a lot of discoveries which I was not expecting, because originally I did not want to get like this involved, but it was something that I started finding out a lot of information. That photo is actually made up of 3 pictures. You have the background shot, which most likely had Ghislaine in. Then you have the composite picture of Virginia in her outfit that she was also wearing on Naomi's yacht for her party. And then you have the image of John, who is a body double, who was dating one of Epstein's girls, with Prince Andrew's head on it. Now, I know this, it sounds, like, wow, is this really true? But I think, the media, the press only actually started questioning this a couple weeks ago. Like, everyone thought, we're going to believe her, although she has lied under oath, which is actually perjury. Which I don't know why there was no repercussions for that. And there's a reason why she was not at Ghislaine's trial, because, she's not very believable, because she changes her story a lot. If you've actually read the depositions, she changes a lot of things.
And Lady Victoria,
can people really believe her?
Well, that's the question, I guess. That is the question. What's interesting, though, and I will tell you this, in an email exchange published in the Daily Mail today, that infamous photo was discussed by Maxwell and Epstein's former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz. And on January the 10th, 2015, Mr. Dershowitz wrote, "Dear G, do you know whether the photo of Andrew and Virginia is real? You are in the background." And then 11 minutes later, Maxwell replied, "It looks real, I think it is."
Yeah, she was in on it. They were all in on the scam. The pilot, Ghislaine, Jeffrey, Virginia, Maria Farmer. This was...
claiming Prince Andrew has been set up.
Listen to me one second. Ghislaine is the one that taught them how to Photoshop and how to get... Ghislaine would use the word insurance. So when, these men would be with these girls, Ghislaine, actually, one of the survivors that I'm getting a lot of information from, she was actually abused from like the age of 9. She had her babies aborted when she was 12 years old by close circle and Jeffrey Epstein. Virginia has been silencing these girls, because she needed to control the storyline. And girls like this one I'm talking about right now have been silenced by her, and they've also been silenced by her organization. Now, if you really have an organization that is trying to help girls, these survivors, you don't just ignore them and then block them, which Virginia did. She just would block them. So you tell me...
So you think she has set Prince Andrew up?
Yes. It was a setup over 20 years.
And you think it's financially motivated?
Of course it's financially motivated. As soon as she runs out of money, she's suing someone else. And she'll probably do it again. You know, there'll be another story once she blows this money. These girls are very manipulative. They are...
But she would say that she was underage and she is a victim of child sex trafficking, which Prince Andrew has now admitted.
Which is another thing which I wanted to touch on. Have you read her book? Have you read her book? Because
no.
She glamorizes everything in her book, saying how amazing Saint-Tropez is, how she's having the best time, she's on a yacht, she's drinking champagne, loving life. In her words, that is how she describes some of these trips. And you're trying to tell me she was trafficked. No, she wasn't. She was a prostitute. She was being paid. She was being paid to recruit the really young girls. Do I feel bad for her? No, she was a recruiter. She should be on trial.
And of course, just to clarify, she has always, and we will get her response, just so we're presenting both sides in a moment.
She's admitted to recruiting.
Yes, but she says that she was the victim of child sex trafficking.
Recruiting young girls. And
Lady Victoria, can I just ask
and she got paid for it.
Can I just ask about that time? Because, of course, you were around. You were on the scene. You actually went to a lot of Epstein's parties, a lot of Ghislaine Maxwell's parties. Did you ever see Virginia at any of these parties?
You know, she could have easily been there, but she would have just, like, blended into, like, you know, a group of girls. So I was definitely, like, you know, in her book, she talks about the weekend she was. I'm sure I would have been there at the same time. So she said that she was at the opening of Nikki Beach, which I was at Nikki Beach, actually, for the opening. So I must have met her in passing, like just not knowing that that's her.
And can I just ask you about Prince Andrew?
Because she was in Saint-Tropez at all. Yeah.
And can I just ask you about Prince Andrew, Lady Victoria? Because other than Fergie, you are the only high-profile person who is prepared to go on the record now and defend the Duke. You have been friends with him for years and years, and you know I've been highly critical of how he has dealt with these allegations and dealt with his friendship with Epstein. The one thing that his friends do always tell me privately, though, is that Prince Andrew, while he was very much a ladies' man, and while he had slept with many, many women, he wasn't interested in young women. Was that your experience of him?
I mean, he's not a party guy at all either, right? I mean, that's just not that image. And I think that, like, the way he is being, like, persecuted right now, I think this is just, like, it's terrible. I mean, like I said, I did not expect to find out as much information as I did. And the more things I got, I was like, well, what do I do with this information? I can't just keep it to myself and let someone that's innocent be treated like this.
And you think that one of the reasons why Virginia was so keen to settle was because she saw the revelations that you were coming up with?
Yeah, I think she was keen to settle really fast. So originally she tried to pretend it wasn't about the money. She wanted to get a, you know, I'm sorry from Prince Andrew, which he didn't give her because he's innocent, right? So why would he pretend to give her I'm sorry? But a payout, but that's basically just like there we go. She's a money hungry, and I wouldn't say vixen. That's way too not the right word for her. But I think she's shown her true colors, and of course her side panicked because there is no photo. There's no original photo, and the FBI...
She says she gave it to the FBI.
I don't believe it.
Okay. Well, look, Lady Victoria Harvey, you know I'm about having both sides of the argument on this show. I've been very personally critical of Prince Andrew, but I'm delighted that you have been able to come on here as his friend and defend him to the world.
There's
because
two sides to a story.
There is. And as I said last night, I'm not certain that Giuffre is telling the truth. There's lots of holes in her story. Yeah. But where I think Prince Andrew made a mistake is that he should have gone to court. He should have tried to clear his name in court, because if he is innocent, as you claim he is, he would have been able to.
I think he can still clear his name with the amount of information that we have. So we'll speak another time. And
you'll be helping him to do it? You're going to keep on this?
Of course.
OK, well, look, keep me posted.
All about truth and getting the truth out.
OK, right. Fascinating. Well, look, I want to hear it. Lady Victoria Harvey, please keep me posted. Of course, there are two sides to this. So responding to Prince Andrew's lawyers filing court documents alleging that Giuffre willingly recruited girls for Epstein, Giuffre's lawyer, Sigrid McCauley, said if Virginia Giuffre had stood silent in the face of outrageous statements like those Prince Andrew routinely churns out, his motion to dismiss the litigation being no exception, the decades-long sex trafficking ring his friend Jeffrey Epstein operated and he participated in would never have been exposed. Virginia has also hit back at claims the photo is doctored. In a BBC Panorama interview in 2019, she said, I think the world is getting sick of these ridiculous excuses. It's a real photo. There's a date on the back of it from when it was printed. Journalist Michael Thomas, who was the first to copy the photograph in 2011, is also convinced the picture is genuine because he found it in the middle of a bundle of photographs. He said it wasn't like she pulled the photo of Prince Andrew out. It was just in among the rest of them. They were just typical teenage snaps. There's no way that photo is fake. And responding to claims Giuffre was only in it for the money, her lawyer also said on the subject of money, let's be clear, the only party to this litigation using money to his benefit is Prince Andrew.